Good day, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, as you know, my name is Joy. So today we're gonna be starting on our first book. So we'll be reading a book together. Yeah, I've read this book before, but I want us to read this together because you're gonna learn a lot from it. Life principles, wisdom, advice from people, men, great men, generals that have done great exploits. So, let's start. You've seen the topic, right? The title. You see? The best advice I ever got. And I'm going to tell you the truth. These are the best advice. These are the best advice. So, let's start. The best advice I ever got. Introduction. To accept good advice is but to increase one's own ability by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. The best advice I ever got. To accept good advice is but to increase one's own ability. Think for a moment how great it would be if you could simply sail through your life, avoiding pitfalls, making good choices, identifying and steering clear of danger, but life is filled with unknowns. When can you possibly gain the tools you need to ensure a successful journey? The best advice I ever got is an excellent source of advice for people in every walk of life, in business, ministry, entertainment, sports, and publishing. These high achievers have passed along the very best advice they've received. Advice that has helped them become the best and brightest in their fields and winners in their personal lives. They've told us how the advice came to them and how it's changed their thinking and motivated them to transform obstacles into opportunities. We've added scriptures so you can see for yourself that their advice line up with God's word. As you live one phase of your life and enter the next, take this book along, read it often, and consider the significance of each lesson. Then share it with others. I'm doing that with you right now. So if you have this book, let's read together. If you've read it before, let's revise. Let's go over it again. And if this is your first time of seeing this book, I would recommend that you get it online. If you can check on the site, and if I get the PDF, I would send the link out. So let's go to our first one. But I need to show you the table of contents. Can you see? This table of content contains 100, 200 advice, 200 people, like 200. Let's go through it together. I will start with our first one. So what we're gonna be is doing is that we do two advice in a day. So we are going for the next 100 days. The best advice I ever got. Number one. Truth and time work hand in hand. I received this counsel from Dr. George Sweaton, former president of the Moody Bible Institute. While hoping to get him to commiserate over unkind things said about me, he went on, with visibility comes scrutiny, learn from valid criticism. But as for the other, remember that truth and time work hand in hand. Remember that truth and time work hand in hand. Little did I know then that more unsought visibility and thus more scrutiny was in my future, and that Dr. Sweeting's wise counsel would make it bearable, allowing the passage of time to reveal the truth, has freed me from the compulsion to defend myself. It has enabled me to stay focused on the task and art. This is by Jerry B. Jenkins, the best-selling author. He's a best-selling author, Jerry B. Jenkins. So let's read its correlation with scriptures. Vindicate me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Test my heart and my mind, for your loving kindness is before my eyes, and I have walked in your truths faithfully. This is Psalm 26, verse 1 to 3, Amplified Version. The Lord will vindicate his people and have compassion on his servants. Psalm 135, verse 14. He whose work is blameless, and who does what is righteous, who speak the truth from his heart, he who does these things will never be shaken. Psalm 15, 2 and 5. Now let's read about Jerry B. Jenkins. Jerry B. Jenkins is the former vice president of publishing and currently a member of the board of trustees for the Moody Bible Institute of Chicago. He is also the author of more than 160 books, including the Left Behind series, which has sold more than 63 million copies. The former editor of Moody magazine, Jenkins' writing has appeared in Time, Reader's Digest, Parade, Guidepost, and dozens of Christian periodicals. In May 24, 2004, cover story, he and Tim Lai were profiled in Newsweek magazine. The writer of several non-fictions book. Jerry had the privilege of assisting Dr. Billy Graham with his memoirs, Just As I Am, also a New York Times bestseller. Jerry owns Jenkins Entertainment, a filmmaking company in Los Angeles, as well as the Christian Writers Guild, which aims to train tomorrow's professional Christian writers and has nearly 2,000 members worldwide. This is awesome. Remember, the best advice he got from Dr. Sweeting is truth and time work hand in hand. And what I learned from this is that in all that you do, truth, time will reveal it. Time will reveal the truth. Time will always reveal the truth. So let's move to our next advice. The best advice I ever got. Follow your dreams, but remember, nothing is a substitute for hard work. Follow your dreams, but remember, nothing is a substitute for hard work. This is by Danny Gantz, entertainer extraordinary. My dad instilled in me that success is loving. What you do for a living becomes so much of life is spent doing it. But he also believed in a strong work ethic. My first dream was to play Major League Baseball, and my father supported my dream until my career ended in injury. Then, with little experience but a lot of hard work, I began my second dream of becoming a successful entertainer in show business. I have spent the last 30 years singing, doing impressions, and making audience laugh. God opened doors for me, but I made sure I was ready when each door opened. Wow, the best advice I ever got. Follow your dreams, but remember, nothing is a substitute for hard work. Let's rate its correlation with the Bible verse. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. Proverbs 21, verse 5. The desire of the diligent are fully satisfied. Proverbs 13, verse 4. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Ecclesiastes 9, verse 10. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. Let's read about Ganny's boyhood dream. His dream was to play third base for the Los Angeles Dodgers, drafted by the Kansas City Royals after high school and the Chicago White Sox after college. This All-American did go on to the minor leagues not long after. However, his world was turned upside down by a career-ending injury. Blessed with a marvelous singing voice and the ability to make people laugh, Gantz was encouraged to shift his focus to entertainment, and a new career was born. Gantz spent the next 15 years honing his skills, often playing to stadium-sized crowds for Fortune 500 companies. However, Downey found himself longing to be home with his wife and children. When he was present with the opportunity to move his show to Las Vegas, where he could settle down, he took it, and for the last 6 years, he has performed consistently sold out shows in the 1,265-seat theater at the Marriage. Danny also has held the position of Entertainer of the Year in Las Vegas for 9 consecutive years. These two men have done a lot, and they've received the best advice from their father, from someone they met randomly, but God orchestrated that and they took the word as an opportunity that God is speaking to them and they used it wisely. It has helped them in areas in which has turned their life around. The best advice I ever got, and I've learned a lot from it. I hope you learned a lot. If you learned anything, share in the comment section. Let's hear from you. Bye, guys. See you in our next best advice. We'll share that in our next video. Bye. See you tomorrow.